Call the Auburn Springs Town Council meeting to order. Call roll, please.
Robert Miller.
Here.
Jeff Bass.
Here.
Kenny Brown.
Here.
Jason Stiltner.
Here.
Jeff Denton.
Here.
James Brumman. We got 5 out of 6. We got a quorum.
Okay. Please, pray.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for the freedoms that you have given us. We thank you for your saving grace. We pray for our nation and the government on all levels that folks would turn to you for answers that come out of your holy word, the truth that Jesus proclaimed. He is the truth, the way and the light. We pray that we would seek you and follow your will. We pray for these men as we deliberate. Give us wisdom. We pray for our servicemen and women at home and abroad. Give them peace and comfort and bring them home safely. We pray for the situation throughout the world where there's wars and rumors of wars. We know that's promised in the Bible, but we also know that it will end when your Son comes. But in the meantime, we pray that you would offer peace to these people and that they would accept it and work through the differences and serve you. Let's call these things in thy Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
So let's send a salute. Please stand and remember that. Attention. Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We need to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion for approval. Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, deletions, additions? Hearing none, call the roll, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass.
Yes.
Kenny Brown.
Yes.
Jason Stiltner.
Yes.
Jeff Denton.
Yes.
Passed.
Okay, citizens, anybody in the audience have a word to say to us or anything to say? In my update time, I don't have a whole lot to update. City manager's got some few things when he gets up and the concerns are solved, but we'll do that. We just, again, want to thank the citizens for putting up with us a little bit on mowing, etc. due to the weather. Kept me help. We mowed when we could. We mowed when it was raining some, and just a few got left out, and we apologize for that. We're trying to catch up now. I think we're about caught up. Rusty's not in the audience, is he? No. Okay, but I think we like a few spots yet, but we get caught up, it'd be time to start all over again. So bear with us on that. Police are doing a good job on the control of the traffic and that. Appreciate that. I'd like to caution the people when they do have someone pulled over to move to the left lane. That's the law. That will be a ticket, and it's an expensive ticket if you don't obey that law. And there's times you get caught in there where you got to almost know where to go, but you can stop, and you should be able to stop and wait your turn to get back to the left lane to get out. There's more policemen got killed in the United States on roadside stops because people didn't adhere to that law, and there probably gets killed in weekend on cars with guns. That's a bug. So we want to make sure we heard that we do pull people over speeding when they're excessive speeds. I wouldn't say excessive. I don't think we're picking on anybody. And use caution when you see those lights, move over if you can. And if you can't move over, stop to your opportunity on the ride so that you can move over. That's all I have. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The Mayor and I had a very good meeting with TDOT earlier this week. It appears that they are the ones that are preparing the design for the Norfolk Southern rail crossing on East Spring Street for the safety grant. We have reached an agreement on the crossing, and it will be designed. They have sent over plans this morning, and they are putting 2 gates type crossing guards to go across East Spring Street. So we're very proud of that. Also, if purchase of a skid steer with a cold planer for pothole repair for the streets department is one step closer. We discovered that state street aid may be an avenue to purchase one. Purchasing machinery to repair and maintain municipal streets is allowed. We will find out more soon. I've reached out to MTAS's legal department to confirm that state street aid can fund equipment purchases, namely a skid steer with a cold planer attachment. And a cold planer attachment is what you put on the asphalt to make the pothole wider, so you can put the patch in to make it a square cut. So we'll find out in a little while. We'll let you guys know. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Get it in writing and put it in the minutes.
What's that, sir?
Get it in writing and put it in the minutes.
Yes, I will.
Because if we're audited and this piece of equipment is not used entirely for state street aid, auditors make us pay the money back.
Perfect. I did it.
It's happened before.
I did it through email, so it will be, and I'll give it to you as soon as I get it
And
at
I
the
can
next
just
meeting.
attach the email in the minutes,
Yeah.
because, that's the easiest way to find it.
Yeah, can do.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. How close are we to getting the blessing boxes up, Thomas?
I think we're waiting on Max to build the pedestal that they sit on. I believe that, I know for sure one of them is done. The other one, I'm not sure its progress, but we're waiting on Max to get the pedestal. So they're very close.
So you're not gonna mount them on 4x4s?
No, this would be a pedestal like that. It's gonna sit on like that. I think he's donated the work, so. They could go on 4x4s, but the pedestal is pretty,
Could we not set temporary, maybe?
well, probably could.
Yeah, we've been since March.
Yeah.
Why don't we set temporary on a couple blocks?
Okay.
Make it safe.
Because they're so heavy, they ain't going anywhere, so.
Make it safe, but let's go ahead and try to set them up.
All right.
Have we decided where we want to place them?
I think the decision was one behind City Hall and one by the library, but they can go anywhere you guys want, really. Any idea?
Behind City Hall?
Yeah, that was one of the discussion, one of the points, I believe. That I remember.
How about in the parking lot?
They'll be behind City Hall, in that part of the parking lot, they'll pull up to it. So it'll be like in the grass part, but you'll walk to it on the asphalt. And you'll never actually get in the grass. It'll just be all in the grass.
Not above the railroad track?
Yeah, behind it. That's what, I thought that's what we discussed. I'll refresh my memory about looking at the minutes, but if y'all want them somewhere else, let me know. I'll put them anywhere. That's,
I thought we
two
decided
spots.
once, I didn't know exactly where, but
yeah, I
we'll
think-
check the minutes.
Yeah, I believe one was behind City Hall.
If it looks so reasonable, we'll do it
Yeah,
again.
we're talking about the library.
Library's a good spot.
They said there by the firehouse would be a good place too.
Okay.
Where's that at?
Out there by the, where there's some dumpsters there.
No,
You talking about Norwood? Norwood Elementary's got a big one in their parking lot.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a probably 3 foot by.
well, it wouldn't be any closer than here in the library.
Do I?
It wouldn't be any
Yeah,
closer
that's
than
true.
here in the library together out there. We put it out there. Except we'll look at it and see where it's at in a minute, and then we'll make sure that it's feasible where we're gonna do it.
Second Norway and Airport. Somebody needs to talk to the person that lives over the corner. Have him cut them weeds. You can't see pulling out of there to the right.
Okay.
That whole fence roll down through there is a traffic hazard.
Okay.
Mr. Shipley.
Who's that?
Mr.
Let's
Shipley.
do this.
Yeah, because I've got hit there.
Have we bring that sign up here and cut it in the case?
Cedar Lane, where they cut up, where they had that water leak and cut it up. It's washing them rock right down in those folks' yards there and gravel.
Oh, okay.
Because it's right in front of that old spillway thing there.
Okay.
And they talked to me about it and said they're supposed to have been hot pasture a while back and it never has been done, so.
Okay. I'll find out what's going on. I'll get it done.
And hey Teddy, we got a water line running down the airport outside the city on the left-hand side coming down towards the creek there.
If you're going out there, I'm gonna
Toward Marlow?
Yeah, if you're going down the airport toward Batley.
No, it's on the right hand side.
It's on this side.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing in that ditch on the left-hand side.
I'm sorry. There's a 10-inch run down the right-hand side.
Well, there's a stream of water running down that ditch on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that.
We got any services going over there?
We got 2 services going across.
Could be one of those.
This is
I'll
pretty
go
good.
out in the morning and check.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stream of water running down through there. I know we hadn't had no rain in a couple of days. Okay.
Sometimes they'll cross the street.
Follow them.
Yeah, they'll follow the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It's fast.
That's all I got this time.
Yeah, Tom, I'd like to get that on East Spring Street.
Yes,
The
sir.
ditch line runs up there all the way up to the end of the thing, which goes, it's on the right-hand side, till you cross the railroad tracks, then it drops over to the left-hand side. So we're cleaning all the ditches out all through town. Can we get up through there and clean those out?
Yes,
Just
sir.
to kind of make them flow and check that one real bad there.
Yes,
How
sir.
far out does that go to the church?
Yeah. About as far as we need to go to the church. But it looks kind of bad up there.
That Mineral Springs Church?
Yes, it kind of looks, it looks bad up through there.
Okay.
Hope we can get that cleaned up. That's all I have.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, I recently, like a couple days ago, went to Kingston, and I was real impressed with their name and their branch of service and their picture of our servicemen hung on the poles, light fixtures or whatever, all through Kingston and all down 95 too. And I just wondered how they got all this done for our service people. Yeah, and I got a fuss tech because I was looking. But anyway, it was real neat and how they got it done and what agency they went through, or they funded it themselves. That they was all on both sides of the road for the service people. And like I say, the branch of service, picture and name, well, I was in the service and all kinds of pictures. And I just want you to check into that for me, find out how they got all that
Check
done.
into it.
Something that will really look nice in Olive Springs. We can do something for our veterans and what they had to go through to get it all done. And I appreciate it. And another little thing I noticed up here too, where the old White Store is, and it used to be Luke Halls or whatever motors. There must be 30 cars crammed in that parking lot and around back.
It's a business.
Huh?
That's a business, and most of those.
It's junk cars too.
Well, that's a business to work on cars.
No, the garage in there.
And it don't look very good, I'll tell you that now.
Oh, if you take the 2 business parking out of town, you've got parking, but you wouldn't have a business.
Well, I'm just saying, that it wasn't there before, and now it's there, seems like it's 3 times as many.
And his car's on the inside, because there were cars to show.
I understand that, but
I'm
I'm
not
saying,
defending him. If he's working on cars, he's not supposed to have more than 10.
got on this place out here on the 4 lane for having things that we still ain't got moved, and this messes up the attraction of, say, downtown Olive Springs.
I'm not trying to defend him, I just said if he's got more than 10, he's not in accordance.
He's got more than 10.
Okay, you got that? Okay. Thank you.
And, I'm just saying, if it's a business, that's fine. If it's a junker, you need to haul it to the junk pile. But it's completely,
Going across the street the same way, the diesel guy, always to their own pass. We've looked at those, and he cooperated with us a little bit, but he didn't move enough of them around.
I'm just saying that it's kind of got,
Most of them are employees. If you look at the night when you go by there,
well, I
most of
just
them.
came by that way, and whether they're working tonight or not, they seemed like they had this every place was real right time, but all the way around the whole building.
I've been guilty of hitting my record down there if you want to.
And all those cars you see sitting in that parking lot, if you look at it, he's doing the town a favor of parking the cars in that parking lot. Because now they cannot make a turn through that parking lot to cut by that 4-way stop to get on East Spring Street.
I've seen it more than once.
And I have too. They'll come down through there and they'll make that turn. Now, they have to come to the stop sign and stop to make the turn.
We'll look at it anyway.
Look at it.
Look at it.
What they gonna give a minute? Something of that nature. He could put 2 cars there, or 3 cars, and keep people from turning. They didn't want it to be that way about it. But anyway, that's all I've got right now.
Still,
It was, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I apologize, lost my train of
Okay.
thought. It was brought to my attention, Thomas, that Tucker Street doesn't have a sign. I think there's one house, I think maybe two, but it's right off Walden Avenue. Could we get a sign? The gentleman, when he spoke to me, said, and it makes sense, if, 911's called, you don't understand where Tucker Street is, it may not pull it up on GPS properly, and could we just get a sign put up? And I said, I'll bring it up, and true to my word.
Address that?
Yes.
I've already spoken with Thomas about that sometime ago.
Okay.
The sign's been ordered.
I'm
And
sorry.
I actually told the gentleman that the sign did.
Okay, I
I
didn't
think
know
it's something,
that, so.
good.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it's arrived yet. We've ordered, we
Okay.
had the men go through the entire city and find all
Yeah.
the signs that were down.
Okay.
So they've ordered one set, and then we've ordered another set of one of each sign.
Okay.
In case another one gets lost, we can just put it right up and then do an inventory of it. Yes.
Thank
I
you,
will.
thank you,
But
Jeff.
really, they like them signs in the bedrooms or something.
Yeah, no, right, for sure, for sure.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, another thing that I would love to bring up, y'all may not know this about me, but I love the 4th of July. This is one of, I love it to a fault, love it. So, love it so much that the police department may have gotten called because we were shooting excessive fireworks the last 4th of July. And they did their job, they were very professional, and I thank the officer for coming out. All that being said, I would like, Thomas, if you would, maybe us draft an ordinance, because it has been brought to my attention that maybe a celebration at the size that we put on, because it isn't a few $100s, it's a several $1,000 endeavor that we do.
Fine for several thousand.
Yeah, that, maybe we could have fireworks down at the park, Wind Rock Pops or something. And, we would put it on for the whole town, free of charge. We could have inflatables down there. We could have,
In the municipal code.
Yes.
In the municipal code, there is an ordinance against fireworks
Yes.
in the city.
That's
In
correct.
order to change that, all would have to happen is that this council would have to re-vote on that one item
Yeah.
and change it that way. I'll bring one in front of this board if everyone wants me to next meeting, and
Yeah.
y'all can vote to change that in the municipal code.
food trucks, that's what I was trying to think of. Food, inflatables, food trucks. And we could just have a day of celebration, right? But if
Not a celebration.
Not a celebration.
Because it lasts all night, but not yours, I'm not talking about yours.
But it's something that just would be another like October Sky Festival, right? It's a great festival. It brings a lot of people to our town. I know if you go to Oak Ridge or Kingston on the 4th of July, there's a lot of folks go down there. So, but just would like to see us, or this council, address that. Just 2 or 3 day grace period. And
We had this at our head, sponsored by, paid for by the VA.
Really?
And we got overrun by people
Yeah,
complaining.
really.
Yeah.
When was this?
This has been about 8 or 10 years ago, this was. And they said they'd never have another.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They had a good fireworks show, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And the VA paid for it. But the people in that surrounding area just bombarded us with complaints.
Wow.
So, I don't know if our head part's a good place to
I'll tell you a
have it.
story about that, I'm sure this guy has, and I have. I've been around a place where there's fireworks about 15 months continuously almost, and you shake your head, you shake you out of bed when it's gone. I can tolerate it.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, if you check back in your ordinances, probably around 2001, 2002, if I remember right, is back when we was doing a lot of the May festivals and stuff like that. There's probably already an exemption for sponsored festival events, just sponsored festival events.
What day did you say?
Like I said, you'd have to check back the minutes because we actually have to do
Approximate day?
2002-ish, somewhere in there, because there was an exemption made for that particular setup. And the reason-
You remember the holidays?
It was either Mayfest or 4th of July, right in that area.
It might have been Redbud Festival.
And it may have been
Okay.
on those lines.
We'll look at that.
But look back then, because there should already be an exemption for sponsored events. As far as the normal, everyday shooting and stuff, there's a couple of different codes that you're gonna have to change probably. One of them will be the regular ordinance codes, and one of them probably fire code on that as well.
This
So,
would just be a one-time deal. It would.
yeah, no, that's why I'm saying, for sponsored events, I think it's already been allowed once and stuff.
Like I said, just for consideration, I mean, it's just an idea that was brought to me because, again, we go overboard. It's stupid, I ain't gonna lie, but I love it, we love it, so.
No, I absolutely understand. So I definitely would check back on that for that.
Thank you, Justin.
As a point of information, these fireworks aren't inexpensive.
No.
You might have to have a professional person set them off for insurance purposes and safety purposes. You might think, I'm thinking $10,000 or more for a halfway decent one. And you might have the city manager find out the cost and the requirements for insurance and what, the protocol about having the expert set it off. Because if, say there's a fire, and the city's sponsoring this, and we haven't followed protocol, our insurance may not cover it.
Right.
And then we got a problem, big uh-oh. And if it's more than a couple of $1,000s, then council, in anticipation of this, could either amend the budget for this fiscal year or put it in the 2023, 2024 budget that will begin July 1st of 2023 next year. So you'd have to plan in the spring during the budgetary process to put it in there. Because that could be a big leg.
Yeah.
Check with the insurance too, because the insurance may not
Yeah.
be comfortable with that.
And I did check with my business insurance agent about underwriting it as well, and he's got me information on that. Definitely want the city covered, for sure. So,
Well, back to my comments.
Yes.
And then I'll get out of here. But as I say, I don't know his intentions or his feelings when he hears a lot of bombs going off, but I can tolerate them. And I wish nobody had to tolerate that. But if you live through it for 20, 30 months, you see why we don't like fireworks. I'll tolerate that everybody else enjoys themselves while I suffer, but that's my feelings. That's personal feelings. I don't know his. He's a Silver Star winner. He's a hero. So.
I don't have a problem with the fireworks, just the idea that the city was really bombarded with complaints, and as a result of they thought the city spent their own money.
I can put up with people better than I can fireworks.
And
I mean, the bombs.
The VA paid for it all,
yeah.
and that was the last time they ever had it.
Okay.
It can be done again, and we'll check the book and see what it says. Don't hold up because of me.
No, that's fine. Hey, thank you, Kenneth, and thank you, Mayor. I didn't know. So, on Davis Lane, was there a water issue that was addressed recently by a fire hydrant? Do you know, Teddy? Are you all done out there, or?
Yeah, we're just letting everything settle, and we're gonna go back and address everything.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, yesterday it was brought to my attention, so thank
We
you.
was up one night.
That was a mess.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And the last thing, do we have an update on the budget process? Like, where we at? Like, has it been approved yet, or?
No. Yes. The update that I have right now, I haven't, off the top of my head, we've turned in everything that I know of to the auditor. They finished with all the files. They're now working on the financials. They've sent the letters out to the attorneys to release any pending litigation that we may have. And that's the last thing that we're waiting on for the budget to be finished with the auditors. With the comptroller, I spoke to them, and they had said that once the audit is complete, we're hoping it around August 30th is about the time it's going to be done, that once it's complete, we're looking to borrow money for the police cars. I asked that specific question a couple weeks ago, but I got a different answer when I re-asked it this time. He said that with it being police cars, it could fall up under the emergency purchase. So whether the budget's approved or not approved by the comptroller, it still will be able to be used to be purchased police cars. So that's good news.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, because you never know until it's all signed off on. But hopefully around August 30th, we should have an audit complete.
Okay.
Let me reiterate a little bit on that. It's for the budget year 2021.
Yes, sir, 2021.
Over the last part of the year for the budget year before they prepare past the 23s, which we're in.
Yeah.
So we're not in any budget trouble money-wise. So that's not missing. It was isolation of figures in the wrong spots, et cetera, et cetera. Everything looks good as far as numbers go. It's just they were in the wrong columns, et cetera. We did not get a good fast audit. We did not get notified timely that they were looking at something that wasn't correct. They were doing our job, I guess they thought for us that somebody else should have done already, and we were rectifying that. Is that pretty much it?
Yes, sir. I would say that the audit is the audit for 2021. We just closed up 2023, and we're in 2021. We just closed up 2022, and we're currently in 2023. But the money's there. It's just the comptroller is the approving authority, and they won't approve it until the audit's done. And the audit had some hangups with software issues that delayed it a couple months.
So you don't think there's any reason to get Terry Motes in here to give an explanation for the hang up or anything like that, right?
I'm not sure if he's allowed to when it comes to he can when the audit's done. He can tell you everything. But I think that if you were to call him personally, he may not be able to.
No, I mean just in front of city council, not personally. No.
Yeah, that'd be just fine. I'll ask him to come and present the audit when it's completed.
Okay,
And he can speak on that, because he would know it the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, Mayor, thank you.
Sir?
Nothing at this time, Mr.
Nothing
Mayor.
at this time. If you want to call his name, he's nothing at this time. Appreciate it, please. Yeah, I'd like to remind everyone to remain in the secret for a beer board meeting also. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, well, I was going to let you know that we've scheduled a beer board for this evening. The first thing I want to bring to his attention is I know me and the mayor's been talking about this, ways to try and improve ways of saving money in the budget. Things we can do to kind of bring the Auburn Springs Police Department forward just a little bit. We've reached out, through several different committees, talking with the Chiefs Association, the Sheriff's Association. One thing that the mayor had asked that we visit a while back that was not ever looked into and that I have now since, one idea that we have is motorcycles. So one of the closest teams around is Knox County Sheriff's Department. We reached out to Knox County Sheriff's Department to talk to them how they started their motorcycle unit, things of that nature. The sheriff up there and all his men, the captain that runs the motor unit, are very strong for motorcycles. They say they're an awesome tool for the police department. Right now, they are figuring that each bike saves them about $350 a week just in fuel. Looking at our fuel numbers versus motorcycle numbers, most bikes can pay for themselves within about a year and a half. We talked to the Knox County Sheriff's Department, not sure about what way everyone's going, how to do it, what would it cost, things like that. So the sheriff told us that basically they are buying 4 new motorcycles this year and that they have about 3 or 4 surplus they're willing to sell us. These bikes are 2016 models. We were reassured that they have about 100,000 miles left in the bikes. They're in immaculate condition. There's more of these motorcycles now than I know of. So they've offered to sell us 2 of their motorcycles, bring us in, give us the training, and help us with all the equipment needed for it. So when I come to y'all tonight, I've got the bids and things on the motorcycles. These motorcycles come in and valued at over $15,000 a piece. They're going to let us have them for over $12,000 a piece. And so what I'd like to discuss with you is if we buy these motorcycles fully equipped from them for $12,000 a piece, at a savings of $350 a year, I can have them pay for it a year and a half just in fuel costs. I know it's a huge asset, for they say,
This savings a week, right?
$350 a week.
Yeah, $350.
Yeah, $350 a week, I apologize.
These Kawasaki's, they really.
These are BMWs.
That Beamer?
Yeah.
When you say they're worth $15,000, is that just the bike, or,
That is just a bike with no equipment. They are,
and what's the equipment value?
the equipment, probably the value on them is probably, right now, we're paying right around $6,000 to $7,000 per car just in lights, not counting equipment, so that's about the same amount of what's on a motorcycle. I would guess that there's at least probably $5,000 to $6,000 worth of equipment on them. The training, I talked to Chief Head of Clarksville Police Department, and he is sending 2 guys right now to Nashville to motor school. The motor school is costing $2,000 an officer. Knox County Sheriff's Department is giving it to us for free. They've also, offered the boots, the pants, the helmets, everything we need to help us get our feet started. They want to take us under their wing. They want to come down and work with us. I think it's a good PR tool for the kids seeing bikes. I know it's going to look good for parades and for funeral escorts. Being able to save a lot of money in fuel, because right now we're pushing, $4 and $5 a gallon at one time. This is taking running a full Dodge Charger or full Dodge Ram pickup truck going up and down the boulevard to a motorcycle getting 40, 50 miles a gallon. So I'm trying to look long term on saving money.
You need a motion on this?
Yes. The request from the Sheriff's Department up there is that apparently all their finances goes through the Knox County trustee. So if these were to be purchased, it would be through the Knox County trustee's office.
What are the brands of these?
They are BMW 1200 RT, is that correct, Mr. Deaconsky? Is that what's on there? It should be on the bid page for NADA.
Oh, what we got in here?
Yes, you have everything on the package.
I second. R1200 RT preview.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion, motion time.
Where's this money gonna come from, out of what?
So what we have right now is what the city manager was talking to you about earlier. I have $49,000 in my capital outlay, and that is to pay for the note to buy the motorcycles and the cars. So my idea is right now that money is sitting there for my payment on these vehicles that is not due till June. So if I use that money to pay for these motorcycles, then when we get the loan, that loan replenishes the money to make that payment. Because that was part of what we were going to purchase out of the money from this.
And you're gonna have gas savings too, so we'll have money in there as well.
So this money is already here, we don't have to.
Correct. It's already allocated in the budget for the capital outlay to purchase the vehicles and motorcycles if we chose to do this program. We ended up coming in a lot cheaper than what we thought, because Harley first had a lease program, but then they decided apparently a few years back to do away with it, and the Harleys were coming in right around $33,000 a piece.
Now, who have we got equipped or brave enough to ride one of them things?
So right now you have approximately 5 officers that have motorcycle license. The first round is, we're going to stick 2 in, is going to be Officer Shell and Officer McConnell. He's actually Sergeant McConnell, I apologize. And then Officer Robert Pitts, that's the retiree from Oak Ridge PD, he is already a motor officer. So he is actually already certified to ride.
Now, does that raise our rates for them motorcycles as far as?
No, we actually talked to PE Partners a little while back when we got the MAT-V, and then we were also talking about several other things like motorcycles, a bunch of different things. So the way it works is the police department's under a blanket policy. Everything that we drive or ride or fly is covered as long as it's worth under $100,000. So if it's worth over $100,000, then we have to do an immediate change on the policy, but outside of that, everything's blanket.
As far as maintenance, how would go back to Knoxville or something with the?
No, so they offer 2 solutions in-house, or if you have a local place, or if you want to go topside. I know I got a gentleman in here that probably will help us with them. I've talked to him. He maintains all of our razors and 4-wheelers. You'll be talking to him here in just a few minutes anyway.
Okay, well, I just wanted, that we've had some bad luck on buying used equipment.
Yes, sir.
Trucks, vehicles, lawnmowers, whatever.
It's the gamble you run.
Yeah, I understand, but if we have something, like a warranty or something along that line would be nice, helpful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, on a 2016 model, there's not any warranties. Law enforcement, even when you purchase a vehicle, you can even get a lifetime warranty. Police departments cannot, because they know what they're going to be put through. I have been reassured by Knox County Sheriff's Department that these bikes have been serviced by Topside every 6,000 miles, and none of them have a single issue. They have 15 current.
Anything else?
We're gonna get the highest mileage on the
No, so they actually, what they done was when they just purchased these new 4, They more or less went to the upper division guys that have actually probably the less miles. And so when we come down, we get the kind of the pick of them. They've actually not, they're all running about the same. The ones we went and looked at today are equivalent to the other ones, and they had 32,000 miles on them. And of course, they've just all been there in Knox County, nothing, major. They do a lot of traffic, so they're going to and from accidents. They do a lot of the presidential motorcades and the fallen veterans. They've been doing a lot of those. So, I mean, it's interstate miles running at slow speeds with a hearse. So, I mean, they've not been abused too bad.
Is this something we won't have to interchange every 2 years, 3 years? Or
Yes.
in other words, what's your plan for keeping these bikes?
So the plan is to see how it phases in, how it works in Alder Springs. We've not actually ever had a formalized motor unit like this before. I want to see how it works. If it works well, the one thing about it is they told me and guaranteed that they're at least worth, another 100,000 miles on them, because they're 140,000 mile touring bike. If they only got about 30,000 miles on them right now, that's a long time. I mean, they've run them right now for 6 years and only 30,000 miles. I would say it'd be a program that this would be it for at least 10 years. If it's something that Alder Springs decides 10 years from now to keep revisiting, then that's something we can see what's on the market then.
Well, where are you going to keep them at, out of the rain?
So right now we have 2 garages behind the police department. One has 2 razors underneath it. The other one has the bicycles that you got donated to us. We're going to consolidate that a little bit, so they'll both be on concrete pads underneath the aluminum awning.
So they'll be going 24/7 in the wintertime too, and snow and ice and...
I don't know about that.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that's not the...
We've checked with a lot of the other police departments on what their policy is. Metro Nashville has one that they will not allow their officers to ride under 45 degrees or in any kind of dangerous inclement weather. You talk to the Knox County Sheriff's Department, they said that it's up to the individual officer. That they've actually rode in the snow and a few other things where they needed the bikes. So that's something we're going to look at and talking to the guys and see what their comfort level is on driving them to where we kind of issue our ruling on it.
Will you tell us all that after we get the bikes?
Yes, sir.
And when you have like a program?
Yeah, so like I said, they have 2 weeks of training. They have to take, and once they complete that, I want to see what their comfort level is on the bikes, and then we'll kind of, from there, draft the rules on it.
I think it's a few you need to catch it comes through all springs. Now I'm on this side going, especially going down that 4-lane to the 2-lane.
We got one that can't catch it on the west side.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say that again.
Something else too, you didn't say,
Anybody else?
ball games where there's heavy traffic, those bikes can go between cars or on the edges of the road or whatever it might be if there's an emergency, whereas a police car might get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, well, I know that, when the police pull somebody over, we don't have a lot of room,
This is going to happen.
to put a, park the bike, I put it like that. Maybe sometimes it's mud, if you know what I mean. Certain times, you pull the car over, a traffic violation or something like that.
You gotta deal with them from the way.
Yeah, well, the good thing about these bikes is they have 3 separate systems to prop the bike up.
Okay.
And that was one of the things we were looking at today. If you remember, like the old bikes that had the actual H-pipe underneath it that rocked up on, they still have the side kickstands. They got a lot more features. The windshield is actually electric and moves. So depending on if you're under 50 mile an hour, or if you're above 50 mile an hour, the windshield will actually extend itself and go higher. I mean, it's got technology on it I've never seen before.
That's good.
Got a motion, got a second, any more discussion? Tom Rojo.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Jason Stiltman,
Yes.
Jeff Denton.
Yes.
Yes.
The only last thing I was asked on the last council meeting by Mr. Denton to bring before you is information on handling wildlife. Do y'all have any questions on any of the packet that I gave you as far as handling
Have
wildlife?
you got any suggestions?
I'd rather leave that up to the politics.
This
I don't
pamphlet is
know
quite
that.
thick and it's quite expensive to do these things.
The biggest things I got advised by TWRA is y'all were informed correctly. TWRA will work with us on getting the permits at no cost. They will actually come and do a 2-day training with us. The issue with it is the permit is not kind of like what you would lead to believe as far as in the word they want to use is depopulate. They don't use the word kill. Their key term is depopulate. So their idea behind depopulating, we can do that now. The problem is transporting. So if you have an animal that you do not want to depopulate and you go to move that animal, that's why you have to have a permit. It's not what you do with it, it's how you move it. So if you move it alive, you are in trouble. You can't cage a wild animal and move it. That's the reason for this ADC permit. It allows us to not have to do it in your yard right in front of you and your children. That way we can go and do it in private. If you want to go do it in private, you have to have an ADC permit. No cost, no problem, they train us, not an issue. The issue comes in, when you do it, how are you going to do it? Once you do it, however you decide to do it, what are you going to do with it? Problems is, a lot of your towns that you talk to, like Maryville offers this full service to all citizens, but you have to get into the point of getting an ADC permit, going and doing it somewhere else where people can't see it, and then when you dispose of what's left, you have different ways. Talking with the Waste Management Connections that we have a contract with, they will do a dumpster for $75 a month, and they will haul it off only weekly. There's not any more than that. And they will not accept anything over 10 pounds. So if you get a dog, you get a deer, you get anything larger than just something like that, then it can't go in there. So that's why I've included incinerator costs. An incinerator can be run. I've talked to TDEC and EPA because it is such a small machine that we're looking at that you would not need any kind of air quality permits, any air quality testing, things of that nature. So I mean, that's why there's so much information, because which way you pick and what road you go down is a whole new set of rules. The depopulation methods, like you've seen, you've got anything from water to gas. Basically, from there you've got euthanization, but if you use that, you cannot use any kind of burial sites. You have to use incineration because they don't want the chemicals to go anywhere. So I don't know how much of this y'all want to kind of discuss.
Well, is everyone okay just to study the pamphlet, see what they come back with next meeting?
I agree with that.
How about
What about
that?
the cost, you know?
It's all in the
I
pamphlet.
understand that, but I'm just saying, which one of the units, have you had any information on that, whether it was the best or not the best?
It's what you want to offer your people of the town. So what it basically comes down to is, what are you willing to spend to manage wildlife? If you feel like that that's not something that we need to be in the business of, we keep going the way we are today. I know there was a member of the community that come before you that basically said that he had to hire a private exterminator and it was costing him $200 a head. What are you willing to pay for your citizens to not have to eat that kind of a cost? And if so, it's laid before you in a fiscal note. Initially, to get the program up and running and paying for it. If you go the full incinerator route, we end up using either water or gas for the destruction. Transport, you're looking between $20,000 and $26,000 to get us up and running for it. If we do things on the low end, we do a dumpster, figure out where you want to put a dumpster with that kind of garbage in it and where it's going to sit. I don't know of anyone around that would want that anywhere near their residence, and you think of all of our properties, it's going to be beside somebody's house, and they are not going to be happy. So if they can come up with a good site for garbage dump, and people are willing to have that beside their house, I would say you can get out fairly cheap, but if not, you're going to be in a little bit of debt.
What about the range though?
Transport.
So the only problem with range is trying to get that truck in our range, to empty a dumpster, and then the garbage truck backing all the way back out that road, because there's no turnaround point. So I don't know what can be done as far as in fixing the road to where that kind of, you probably know more about the garbage trucks, because when that big dumpster, the commercial truck comes in with the big forks to lift it, can he get in and out? So then you're going to run into the cost of having to, grade the property out there, put the dumpster, pave it, gravel it. I don't know what it would take to withstand the weight of that truck.
The chief said that couldn't have any dumpster animals over 10 pounds. Got coyotes, and I don't know if possum would be more than 10 pounds, or a raccoon, but wild hogs and black bear.
Yeah.
I'll say half your dead deer, half your animal population is going to be more than 10 pounds. And so you got a dead deer on the side of the road, or a bear that has to be dealt with. You can't use the dumpster to house the carcass.
So I'll bring you this information just for y'all to talk with your community and find out what they're willing to do. Because like I said, you know, the money could be there if we find other avenues, but it's gonna cost a little bit to get into this ballgame.
How about taking home and study? If you have any questions, call me on. I can discuss it.
Y'all have my number, just call me anytime and I'll help you with everything I can.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Archie,
No, this time.
you don't have anything?
No, sir.
But you need to come tell us something about something.
I already did once.
Yeah, you are interrupted me once, haven't you? Oh, you weren't there. Old business, any old business? Old business? New business, discuss and possibly approve confirming the hire of Scott Robertson full-time. We're ready for
And
this?
Scott's here right now.
Scott, you want to come forward, please? This gentleman comes to us from California, as y'all remember, via Oneida.
Winfield area.
Yeah, he's driven to California a couple times since then, I think, to get us good. So evidently he's settling in for good.
Now, Scott's licensed in sewer collections in California, and he's going to get reciprocity in the state of Tennessee. So we're really excited. You're actually
working right now.
You're actually multiple licensed, aren't you? So Scott's been a good
Cash the check, so I'm just waiting on the license.
Make a motion to approve.
You got a motion, got a second, any discussion?
I didn't see what he didn't hire. What did you mean hire?
Sure.
Okay, it didn't say that on here.
Sure, please.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
You still live in Winfield?
Yes, sir.
Do you? Like to drive down 27?
Yes, but you know, I used to commute to the Bay Area, so this is nothing.
You was traveling Highway 5.
I'm reading traffic, and yeah, all the curves and stuff, but the traffic is so much better. Prettier scenery too.
Well, we welcome you once again.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, sir, for
Appreciate y'all.
your efforts in our city.
Let's vote.
Yeah, we need to roll
Yeah,
call.
vote.
Roll call.
Robert Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Jason Stilton.
Yes.
Jeff Hunt.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
looks like the guys are working hard. He's lost about 20 pounds since he's been here. He was a big old boy before he came here.
Was she on probation? Just turned out right.
The second B, item B is discuss overtime calculations for holiday hours in the handbook, section 4, compensation, section F, overtime.
Thank you, Mayor. What this is, gentlemen, is when this handbook was presented to you, there was something that I wanted to make very clear that I got the interpretation on just recently on how I was interpreting it wrong, and I want to give you gentlemen the opportunity to discuss it and talk about it because y'all approved it with my wrong interpretation, and I don't think that's right. I want y'all to approve it knowing everything. And what this is basically on the overtime calculation, it says for overtime calculation, holiday hours shall be counted as time worked. Now that's important, and here's why. Normally how it works is that you have to break 40 hours in order to get overtime. And that's just how it's set up. Now, with that one wording of overtime calculations for a holiday hour shall be counted as time worked means that when you have a holiday, say on a Monday, you're given 8 hours of holiday pay. And you work the rest of the week, you've worked 32 hours. With that 8 hours, you have 40 hours. But you have to, the way that I was interpreting this was that you had to break 40 hours with contact time to be able to get overtime pay. So what this says is that with 32 hours, the 8 hours counts as time worked, which means you have 40 hours already, and that means that if you work maybe an hour over on Tuesday, I was only paying straight time. But this says that I am to pay overtime because that 8 hours counted with your 32 to give you the 40-hour work week. So, I don't think any private place does that. Only a few cities do that, but it's in here. We had MTask help us put this together, and there's a lot of people involved, so this was in there. And I wasn't clear on that when I presented this employee handbook to you gentlemen, and I have already gone, because I do the overtime calculations when the payroll comes in for the city staff, you know. David does his for his police department, but I was calculating it on a 40-hour work week, not on a 32-hour work week. So I had to go back and repay them for those 7 holidays that have already passed. Another holiday is coming up in September. So, you know, it's not a whole lot of money. It was $514 back pay for out of general fund and $1,600 back pay out of enterprise fund or water and sewer fund. So I just want to make that clear that I had to pay them. They had worked it because it's in the policy. That's how a policy reads and states. But if you guys want to change it, to strike that line, you can. I would recommend leaving it in. I don't think it's costing us that much. I think it's a benefit that the employees have, and if you take it away, you will be taking away a benefit. I do think that the men have a hard job anyway. They're probably not paid what they should be anyway, and we make up for it with benefits, and this is a benefit. So I wanted to present that to make it clear that it is in here. I didn't understand it the way I was probably supposed to, so I was calculating it wrong for everybody. So when they had that 32 hours, any hour over, if they worked on a Tuesday, they were just getting straight time. Because in my mind, I thought they had to break 40-hour plus the 8-hour holiday in order to get, so at 41 hours I was giving them overtime. But according to this, at 32 hours plus I was to give them the overtime. So that's in here. I wanted to let you all know about it.
So the motion would be to leave it in to let them take advantage of the overtime.
Well, it would just be no motion to leave it alone, a motion to change it if you want to change it. I'm more presenting it as a point of information because you guys did vote on this, but you voted on it with me misunderstanding it and probably explaining it wrong. So that's the correct explanation of it. And if you're okay with it, we can just leave it. If you want to change it, make a motion to change it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with me.
Okay. Okay, with everybody. Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
know
you
it
said,
remains the same.
probably underpaid.
The list is in there on the vacancy lane.
Make a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, we ain't going to go yet. Got a motion to adjourn, need a second.
Second.
And a second. Those in favor, stand up for a few minutes, and we'll go into the Beer Board meeting.